little bit about tonight's playwright, Nat Quayle Nelson, and about her play. It became clear many, many years ago to people smarter than me that the way to best nurture new writing for the stage is to take a script, the writer's taken it as far as she or he can go, and then get actors together and read the script out loud and then put it on its feet. Only then, when the writer can see in 3 dimensions what the actual theatrical text, which after all is a performance text, will look like and sound like and be like with real people, that's when you begin to know the next thing you need to know about your play to get it ready for production. And so we, along with people all over the world who are interested in theater, do these workshops. I love the one we do here for a lot of reasons. One of them is that the actor training program and the music theater program involves itself with us. So we get great actors to come in and do that really important part. And here's another thing that we learned while we were doing it is that those actors have really good ideas. Somehow when you inhabit a role, even if it's just for a day during that 3-hour workshop session, you begin to have a different kind of perspective that also helps the playwright. So that's what we've been doing all semester. We started with table reads, and then we moved into the 3-dimensional kind of exploration, improvisation of parts of the play. And then when the virus hit, we went back to table reads, in this case, virtual table reads. And I've been extraordinarily impressed with the 17 people in this class and how well they adapted and how creatively they've adapted to that. I have to also pay tribute to Sydney because when it hit, I was actually out of the country and I thought, how in the world will we do New Plays Workshop now, the end of it? And the answer was Sydney, because she's very savvy and very encouraging about using this technology, Zoom technology, and that she's really made this whole thing possible. So that's the New Plays Workshop. Now about survival instinct. Nat Nelson is one of the smartest people I've ever met. And he's smart in all kinds of ways where I'm dumb. So I was kind of perfect for the person that could stop in the table read or somewhere and say, I don't get it. Then she could explain, some of the technology that this play is about. There's always been a worry about technology running ahead of the ethical problems that it itself creates. In the 15th century, after Caxton brought out the printing press, there was a great worry that with the printed word, people would lose their memories, not be able to remember things because it would all just be written down for them. There's a 19th century newspaper cartoon that I like quite a lot that shows a man and a woman sitting next to each other on a park bench in St. James's Park, and they're not paying any attention to each other because they're both reading the new technology, then telegrams. So the fear was that we're ignoring each other. I don't know, that may sound familiar now. In a more sinister way, the unleashing of the atom led to the atomic bomb in the 20th century. There's also always been a concern about what attracts a society's best minds. Will it be to positions of responsibility that have as a central concern improving or at least not harming society? Or will money lure the best minds to self-interest? What about now? Well, Nat's written a play that concerns itself with both of these important issues. Today, some of the best minds are in information technology, in computer science, and in gaming. Will those minds produce the means to improve society? Or will they follow the path of self-interest? That's one of the questions that Nat asks in her play, and a fascinating question. And I think you'll be fascinated by some of the answers that she gives. We're also in an age, once again, that's exploring new modalities of sex and romance and ways to be together. Will those new modalities enhance lives, or will they cause harm to lives? That's another subject that Nat engages in this play. I just want to say one other thing. I know it's going to be covered by our narrator when she reads some of the stage directions, but it's important that you know that some of this play takes place in the virtual world of a game. And the whole idea in full production would be that someone would actually enter a part of the stage, and at that point, their game selves are playing games. We've tried to recreate that as well as we can. Please enjoy Survival Instinct by Nat Quayle Nelson.
Survival Instinct, a techno-drama by Nat Quayle Nelson. Cast, real. Michael Plotson, crunch, 40s, white, rich programmer. Lisa, 20s, black, cis queer woman. Kiki, 20s, black, cis queer woman. Mr. Ellison, cranky, white high school teacher. RCers 1 through 3. A diverse bunch, some of whom must be trans and or non-binary. Nick, any age, gender, race. Dave, any age, gender, race. Alec, 20s, white cis man. Aarav, 20s, Southeast Asian cis man. Brett, 20s, Chinese American cis man. Susan, 20s, Chinese American woman. Zander, 20s, white trans femme, can be scruffy. Review board 1 through 3. Harbingers of Doom. Staging. This play requires a large screen behind the stage. A space directly in front of the screen must be clearly marked off as the play space, a stage within the stage for actors to play out things that happen in simulated worlds such as video games. The screen can serve as an instantly changeable backdrop for the play space, transporting characters between various landscapes. The screen is also be used to display visual aids. Inspired by the Recur Center. The Mineral. Project and William Gus by collaborator in game dev and co-president of West High CS Club, RIP. Act 1, Robot and the Baby, Genesis 1:1. Michael Plotson, a rich emo programmer in his 40s, commands the empty stage. Behind him, a black screen and a 10 or so foot square on the floor denote the play space. It is a stage within a stage, representing video games and other virtual worlds.
Survival Instinct, my stroke of genius. A universally beloved video game.
The screen lights up. Cliché block letters spell Survival Instinct over the backdrop of a forest made of blocks. A chiptune theme song with vibes of high adventure plays.
It's every kid's fantasy. You wake up on an alien planet and you build yourself up from nothing.
A survivor enters the game world. It's the video game's player character, a white man wearing only a loincloth and speaking only in grunts. The screen displays a forest backdrop.
Starting with the barest means of survival.
The survivor repeatedly punches the air in front of a tree. The tree shakes until it falls. Logs roll out to him from under the screen, and he picks them up, carrying them triumphantly off stage.
You learn to construct shelter against a hostile planet.
A log cabin is erected in a clearing of the forest. The survivor rushes back on stage, pursued by a Herbert-esque sandworm, and when he enters the game space, the screen fades into the cabin interior and the worm stands outside. He breathes a sigh of relief, then sets about forging a sword with an anvil.
And eventually fight back.
The survivor wields his new sword and exits the cabin, swinging it wildly and chasing off the sandworm.
As you learn to harvest your planet's natural resources,
Plotson waves his hand and conjures a majestic mountain onto the screen. The survivor produces a pickaxe from thin air and begins mining into a mountain.
you will eventually command the landscape.
The mountain falls and is replaced by an imposing medieval castle.
And build vast empires unifying the savage alien tribes you will discover.
Survivor shakes hands with a green-faced humanoid alien and offers a shiny coin in exchange for bread.
Or killing them. I don't care.
Survivor pulls the sword from behind his back and smites down the alien. He takes his coin back.
My game captured the hearts, minds, and disposable income of millions around the world.
The survivor shows off a series of licensed survival instinct products which are thrown to him from offstage. Shirts, mugs, Legos, and even panties.
Now I own the world, and I've never been happier.
Welcome. RC. Lisa, a black woman in her 20s, enters the RCer Center, a technofied office space in Brooklyn. Through the windows, she can hear the occasional traffic noise near J Street Metrotech. Kiki sits at a table handing out blank name tags. Behind Kiki are a green flag with the RCer Center logo and a name tag template specifying where to put name and pronouns.
Hey, you're a little early. No worries, we'll get you set up with a name tag and free breakfast. Coffee should be here any minute.
The first thing I learned in high school programming was that there's no such thing as free breakfast.
Is that a Tanstoffel joke? I have a good feeling about you.
It's Lisa. Lisa Bradford. I just got in from Salt Lake City.
Don't forget to write your pronouns on there.
Oh, right. So, do you work here?
No, I'm a regular RCer just like you. They overlap the batches, so there's always some people who know the swing of things to help the newbies get adjusted. I volunteered to be the welcome person today.
Well, it seems to be working. The last time I had a first day in programming class was a nightmare.
High school. Stage lights transport Lisa to a memory from high school. Her teacher, Mr. Ellison, lectures passionately in front of a whiteboard that says Tanstoffel.
Tanstoffel. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch. In this classroom, it's every man for himself. You will not work together. You will write your own code. You will squash your own bugs. You will take your own quizzes.
RC. The lights bring Lisa back to Kiki and RC.
That's why I'm here. I quit taking CS classes after my first year.
I feel that. What got you back into programming?
Well, so I was a game journalist until I wrote this one article.
The screen displays the title and first paragraph of an essay called Survival Instinct is an Accidental Eco-Feminist Masterpiece.
Do you play Survival Instinct?
No.
But you've heard of it, right?
Yeah, of course.
I wrote this article pointing out how the game guides you to play out a virtual version of US history, starting with settler colonialism. Plundering natural resources, killing native tribes, dominating other players, that kind of thing. And what tends to happen is after a while, your planet turns into just a barren wasteland, and then the game gets boring.
Try telling that to my niece. She plays it constantly.
Well, yeah, I may have stretched the point a bit. But anyway, my thesis was that by letting people play out the sad arc of industrialism, the game was conveying an eco-feminist perspective, even if it was on accident.
I like your style. You know, I was a climate scientist before I came to RC.
No shit. Any good news?
Emphatically not.
Oh.
But you were saying about your essay?
Right, yeah. So Crunch, you know, that's what the guy who made the game calls himself online. He read the essay. Guess it got too many retweets for its own good.
Crunch shambles on stage, visibly drunk. He mumble reads the essay off the central screen. Full of disdain, he takes out his phone and starts composing a tweet.
That pontificating cunt, Lisa Bradford, got it all wrong. The point of my game is that life is meaningless and we can do whatever we want. The world is dying. So what if we killed it? If you're not getting drunk and having fun, you're an idiot.
He leaves.
He called me out in front of like the 3.7 million gutter baby alt-right trolls who still follow him online after he got all depressed and shitty.
Well, like, Maybe not all of those people are gutter babies, and that's probably subtle classism, and the depression thing is ableism.
What?
Subtle isms are one of the social rules. You'll hear about it in the welcome presentation.
3 more RCers filter in.
We can talk more about your story after things get going.
Lisa takes a seat and waits for the welcome presentation. After filling out name tags, the rest of the RCers join her. Nick and Dave enter and begin the presentation.
Welcome to the Recurse Center, everyone. Some of you are new, and some of you have been here for a while, but one thing unites all of us, the shared goal of becoming a dramatically better programmer.
Now, before we set you loose with tons of resources to pursue that goal in a shared, welcoming learning environment, we're going to go over what we call the 4 social rules.
These rules are designed to make RC an equitable space where everyone feels safe to learn, grow, and be themselves.
The first rule is no feigning surprise.
Feigning surprise is when someone doesn't know something you think is obvious or essential, and you react by shaming them.
High school. In another high school memory, Mr. Ellison patrols the computer lab, scrutinizing his students. He stops when he sees Lisa laboring to type her code Hunt and Peck style.
Good God. You never learned touch typing?
No. Sorry, what's that?
Look at everyone who is working faster than you. They clearly learned touch typing in grade school like you were supposed to.
RC. Lisa snaps back to the present moment.
When you do this, instead of responding respectfully, what you've done is made them feel afraid to admit when they don't know things. And this is toxic for learning.
The next rule is no well actuallys.
Well, actually, is when you overhear someone giving a simplified but correct explanation of a complicated subject. Then you lean over and say, well, actually, and then you go off to show off all your smarts by correcting them on the gory details that no one asked for.
High school.
Can anyone show the class how to write the Hello World program in Java from memory?
Lisa raises her hand and goes to the whiteboard. She writes on it.
This will compile, but actually, you should have put your opening braces at the end of each line to keep your code clean. On a real assignment, I would dock points for this.
RC.
The third rule is no backseat driving. This refers to when you're across the room from 2 people trying to solve a problem and you overhear something and then you jump in thinking you know exactly how to solve the problem. It's disrespectful and usually you don't know the answer.
High school. Lisa and Alec share a computer.
I just can't tell where that variable is changing to the wrong value.
We just need to run it in the debugger and then step through.
Mr. Ellison on patrol overhears them.
None of the assignments in my class should require a debugger. Either you're working on something you shouldn't, or you should just be using print statements instead.
RC.
The last rule is the most complicated of the social rules. It's no subtleisms.
Subtleisms are casual comments that reflect unfair assumptions or stereotypes we might have about underrepresented groups in tech. Things like saying, "This is so easy my grandma could do it," which is both ageism and sexism, or "object-oriented programming is a lazy crutch," which is ableism.
High school. Mr. Ellison calls roll.
Lisa Bradford?
Here.
Still. I keep telling you, honey, humanities is down the hall.
RC.
Now we're going to demonstrate what you should do if you notice anyone breaking a social rule here at RC.
Nick and Dave square up to play act a scenario.
I've been having such a hard time getting my head around Haskell. I've only used C# and Java before.
You've never used a functional programming language?
That's feigning surprise.
Oops. Sorry.
Everyone makes these mistakes in everyday conversation. We expect you to break the social rules sometimes. Just listen when other RCers correct you on it, always apologize, and move on without arguing. Over time, you'll be apologizing less and correcting yourself more before the fact. It's as simple as that.
The social rules aren't there to cover every form of inappropriate behavior. We have a code of conduct for that, but rather to act as a safety valve that can diffuse misunderstandings and prevent negative feelings from simmering in our shared space.
Now we'd like to go around the room and get to know everyone. Give us your names, pronouns, some background, and tell us what you want to learn or work on here at RC.
Hi, I'm Derek, he, him, his. I quit my job at the healthcare insurance company to try to earn a living doing something at least 30% more ethical. While I'm here, I'm going to be doing interview prep and learning as many marketable skills as I can.
I go by Ren, they, them, theirs, but all pronouns are fun. I'm a DevOps engineer taking a much-needed sabbatical. While I'm here, I want to learn Rust because I've heard it's a revolutionary language with a solid, trans-friendly community.
My name is Parvati. I'm still a student, so I was really surprised to be accepted at RC. To be honest, I have no idea what I want to learn here. Hopefully y'all can help me figure it out.
I'm Kiki. I started my RC batch 3 months ago, but I still don't have a job lined up, so I decided to extend it by another 6 weeks. I've mostly been contributing to open source projects for social justice, but I might need to get more practical about the job hunt, so I'm looking at you, Derek, for some pairing up on interview prep.
My name's Lisa, she, her, hers. I used to be a game journalist, but I got chased out of the industry by a full-scale hate mob. While I'm at RC, my plan is to do some game dev and use my gay agenda to ruin video games for all those assholes.
Thank you, Lisa. Now we're going to start breaking into pairs for 5 minutes for get to know you conversations.
The screen shows a generated spreadsheet pairing everyone up. Lisa is paired with Kiki. They go to each other.
Hate mob.
Hundreds of Crunch's fans were sending me messages with isms and even a couple death threats. So I quit.
That's pretty sad.
But now I'm here, meeting folks like you and planning my next move.
We should totally pair up on something. So what are you going to work on first at RC?
I thought I'd start with modding.
Modding?
You know, making patches for existing games that add new features and stuff. One thing that always bothered me about Survival Instinct.
In the game, the scene transitions during Lisa's speech. Kiki and all the other RCers leave as the sky darkens, and Lisa is the last one still in the space. The screen displays a Survival Instinct game world.
Is that you could only play as a skinny white dude.
The survivor pops his head into the game space.
I'm gonna make a mod that lets you design your own avatar.
She waves the survivor away and crosses the line into the game world, playing as herself for the first time. She begins making a beautiful garden. This is tender, prolonged moment. A notification appears on her screen. Alec Himmel wants to play. Pleasantly surprised, she accepts the invitation. Alec, the boy she sat next to in high school, walks into her virtual garden.
Alec? Long time no see.
Since high school.
You still play Survival Instinct?
Yeah, you could say that. Can I show you something?
Sure.
Think lab. Alec waves his hand. The outer scene transitions to show a computer lab where Aarav and Brett are working in the background. Both are typing away on laptops, not paying much attention to Alec. The in-game background changes from Lisa's garden to a forest on Alec's Survival Instinct server. The survivor enters, now acting as Plink. He wanders to and fro, punching at trees and dirt, occasionally jumping, following no discernible intelligence.
Are you like teaching your mom how to play or something?
What? No.
Subtle sexism. Sorry.
This is Plank Al Cool. Plank for short. He's an AI.
No shit. Why is he acting like a moron?
We're working on it. This is my PhD research.
You said Plank Gal.
Plank Al Cool. He's named after the first high-level programming language.
Never heard of it.
The screen displays a snippet of Cool code.
When Conrad Zuse started coding chess in his own algorithmic notation, he imagined an era where humans would no longer be concerned with writing machine language directly.
If Conrad Zuse was such a genius, how come no one's ever heard of him?
He was German, and he created the first working computer for the Third Reich. The Allies destroyed most of his work in Berlin in 1943.
And that's your hero.
I wouldn't say hero, but he wasn't a Nazi, just a visionary who couldn't control what his tech would be used for. But just look at it. Isn't it beautiful? High-level programming was a giant leap for mankind.
Humankind.
Well, what we're working on here is called imitation learning. I think it could be the next giant leap.
He looks to Plank admiringly. Plank takes the smallest step imaginable. Alec waves him away.
How so?
High-level languages let programmers worry more about what their code does and less about how. Now, imagine if we could take that further. If an AI could learn to do anything a human could. Monkey see, monkey do. We'd be done writing code forever.
Man, I hope not. I'm just starting my career as a programmer.
Oh, you are? I thought you quit.
I did, temporarily. Now I'm at this retreat called the Recurse Center. We can do anything there. I was just testing a mod I made for Survival Instinct.
She motions up and down her body to highlight that she's not the default avatar.
Oh, wow. I never realized. I mean, I was always myself in here to begin with.
So yeah, things are going well. But I only get 3 months here, and after that, I'll be on the hunt.
Well, you should come see Plank Lab. We need more programmers, but also someone with social skills to run the server. And as far as the impending obsolescence of code goes, machine learning jobs aren't going away anytime soon.
Where?
Oh, Carnegie Mellon, Pittsburgh.
I have family out there.
So hop on a plane. We'll buy your ticket.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Brett stands up and interrupts the conversation on Alec's end. Lisa can't hear him.
Wait a minute. Where are you getting the money for that? Not the grant budget, I hope.
Talk later?
Yeah. Oh, shit. It's late. Gotta go.
Lisa walks to the edge of the game space, stops to look back at Alec, smiles at him, and leaves. Alec turns to appease Brett.
It's just a plane ticket.
Sounded kind of like you're also giving her a paid gig.
Every undergrad we get on community management quits. Are you telling me you want to do it?
Sure, why not?
Half the complaints we get are about you two.
Study group. At RC, Lisa leads a group of RCers in a study group.
So I thought for our first AI study group, we could start with early AI history. John McCarthy, the first person to coin the phrase artificial intelligence, invented Lisp, a programming language that became the de facto standard for academic AI for several years. I've been learning Common Lisp out of this book.
The screen shows a book cover.
But before we go into Common Lisp, I thought it would be fun to go over a sci-fi story John McCarthy wrote. It's called The Robot and the Baby.
Snippets of text from John McCarthy's story play across the screen to match Lisa's narration.
In the year 2055, household robots become available to the public. But politicians are afraid that if kids are raised by robots, they'll come to see them as friends and start a robots' rights movement. And they pass a not a person law, which states that any household robot has to look hideous, and can't work with children except in an emergency.
R781 enters the stage's simulated zone, played by an actor wearing 8 spider-leg metal arms.
So there's a household robot named R781, and it works for a lady named Eliza, who's a crack addict, and has a baby named Travis.
Eliza enters holding baby Travis. She callously lays Travis on the floor. Travis cries.
Stop bother. Oh,
Your baby is doing poorly. He needs your attention.
stop bothering me, you fucking robot.
Mistress, the baby won't eat. If he doesn't get some human love, the internet pediatrics book says he will die.
Love the fucking baby yourself.
R781 can't actually love anyone because he's been programmed not to. And he also can't report Eliza for her negligence because privacy lobbyists have made that a rule too.
A large snippet of the story written in Lisp syntax appears.
And that's where shit gets crazy.
That subtle, well, I don't know the word for it, but crazy as an insult is offensive to mentally ill people.
Googling it.
Oops, sorry. Well, anyway, John McCarthy actually wrote Lisp code into the story.
Wikipedia says the word is mentalism.
Are we supposed to understand this?
Not yet. I'm gonna...
Ballsy move putting so much actual code into a story.
Ballsy?
Sorry.
That's subtle sexism.
Sorry.
I am so lost.
I'm gonna explain it. This code shows us that R781 is using utility theory. You can tell because of all the expressions with value in them. The robot has to decide which of its choices is the most useful using numbers and algorithms programmed into it. And in this case, it decides it's more useful to break the rules. It can pretend to be human so baby Travis can feel loved. So it learns to make a disguise.
Materials slide to R781 from behind the screen. It hides 6 of its 8 arms with a blanket. It rips the sleeves off a jacket and puts them over the remaining 2 arms. Finally, it puts on a terrifying mask of a woman's face.
And to simulate Eliza's voice.
R781 picks up baby Travis and talks baby talk to him.
Who's a good boy? You're a good boy.
They still assign babies gender in the year 2055?
I guess so.
That's subtle transphobia.
Wow, look at the time. I've got a date in half an hour, so why don't we just get started on Common Lisp?
Dating. Lisa and Kiki sit together on a park bench in Brooklyn.
How do you like RC so far?
It's amazing. I started a study group for AI, and I think it went pretty well once we got into the actual coding.
What happened before that?
I made everyone read a short story.
How literary of you.
What?
Literary, like literary.
Don't make me pun issue.
Maybe I wouldn't mind a little punishment.
How Kiki of you. You know, like kinky.
Are we the absolute worst?
Probably. So, what have you been working on?
Bailblock. It's this open source app that lets anyone mine cryptocurrency for bailing out ICE detainees.
Wow. And that works?
It's raised enough to bail out 13 people so far, which seems small, but
still, I've never had an impact like that.
If we could get 10,000 people to install the app on their computers, we'd effectively be freeing 7 people a month.
I don't think I'm doing enough.
No one is.
I'm flying to Pittsburgh for a sort of job interviewee thing this weekend.
That's amazing. Where at?
It's called Plank Lab.
Never heard of it.
You wouldn't have. It's this AI research that's supposed to be really new.
You'll have to tell me all about it.
interviewee thing. In Planck Lab, Alec tears down a poster that says 3 ways to outsmart Planck and puts it in the trash.
Why are you ruining our decorations?
Because we're recruiting. We need to pull the attention away from how stupid Planck is to more important things, like the positive impact Planck can have on the world.
But I spent half an hour making that.
Yeah, in MS Paint.
In place of the old poster, Alec puts up a photo of Carl Sagan with a quotation on it. Then he hangs a mirror and scrawls across it in dry erase marker, "I believe Planck can save the world."
What does that even mean?
It's an Avatar reference.
The movie with the blue people?
No, he's talking about the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Why is it a mirror?
Because Planck mirrors our behavior.
Alec's phone buzzes.
I don't have time for this. Lisa's here.
Aarav fishes the old poster out of the trash can, dusts it off, and keeps it back up next to the mirror.
So, this is it. I'd like you to meet Brett and Aarav.
Nice to meet you. Mind if I look around?
Go ahead.
Lisa goes almost immediately to the mirror.
I love this.
Then, the poster Alec tried to hide.
3 ways to outsmart Planck?
That's nothing.
Use your ears.
Allow us to show you.
Right now, Planck is pretty much retarded.
Whoa there.
So fucking stupid.
These are things most human players figure out within their first hour in-game. Like Asimov's laws of robotics, they're so fundamental, you don't need much else to be good at the game.
Hey, it took me a week to learn some of those.
It took you a whole week?
Hey, at least I did learn them. Planck's still too dumb to follow a single one.
Brett jumps into the game space, pretending to be Planck.
Use your ears is rule number 1, because we haven't figured out how to encode the game's dynamic sounds into Planck's training input yet. He's basically deaf.
Aarav sneaks up on Brett holding a knife.
Monsters come up on him from behind, and he can't tell until he's already dead.
Aarav slits Brett's throat. Brett drops to his knees.
Actually, he can tell once his screen starts flashing red.
You get the point, though.
Now you be Planck.
Oh.
No, dumber. Like this. The second rule, don't move backwards, is more self-explanatory.
Brett gets on hands and knees behind Aarav, who walks backward right into him and topples both of them to the ground.
Yep. And last but not least,
out of nowhere, Alec wields an orange water gun labeled lava and blasts both Brett and Aarav with a heavy flow.
stay away from lava.
Oh! It burns!
It burns.
Should you be spraying your research partners with a literal super soaker in a goddamn computer lab?
Good point. Back to work, boys.
Brett and Aarav squeeze droplets out of their shirts before sitting at their computers and resuming work.
Wow. Y'all just broke all 4 social rules and probably a few OSHA regulations just to explain some basic shit.
That's the thing, though. You say basic shit, but...
He taps excitedly on the Carl Sagan photo he put up earlier.
The simplest thought, like the concept of the number 1, has an elaborate, logical underpinning. The brain has its own language for testing the structure and consistency of the world. The 3 rules are basic shit for us because the human brain spends an entire childhood developing concepts like ears and backwards or lava. Early AI research tried to encode all that knowledge by hand, but nature doesn't work that way. That's why it never got anywhere. In nature, it's monkey see, monkey do. Imitation learning is the idea that with enough data showing real human interactions, machine learning could teach an AI to pick up on those concepts all on its own.
I did some research of my own. For something like this, the training data set would need to be massive.
Follow me.
He leads her into the game space.
We made a mod that players have to install before they join our server. It records every message sent between the server and the client. Later, we re-render the game session from that data so Plank can learn from it.
They are joined by a random gamer whose username, Poopert, is displayed over their head. Poopert leads a pig on a leash.
It is I, Poopert, king of hogs. With my magic powers, I give a voice to all the beasts of the land.
Poopert kicks the pig towards Alec.
Mr. Hogwarts, call this gentleman a cuck for consorting with fake gamer girls.
Oink.
Who's this asshole?
Some rando. Let me go ahead and give you admin privileges.
Slash ban Poopert.
Poopert is dragged screaming off stage by cloaked figures. Back to the pits of hell.
Well, we're trying to record hundreds of thousands of hours of data. We need to bring in a lot more traffic, only less guys like Poopert, and that's where your position would come in.
How many average active users right now?
In a day, it's usually just me, Brett, and Aarav. Sometimes my girlfriend. So we really need to grow. Most players want a server with hundreds of people, all-out warfare, that sort of thing. We can't compete with that, so we need to find a niche. And I thought, fuck it, maybe our niche is diversity and inclusiveness. The kind of thing that you write about.
Questionable motivations, but still, a chance to put all that into practice and get paid.
What do you say?
I need to talk to someone first, and I would want to finish my batch at RC. Does that work?
Sure. Hey, the team's going out to drinks tonight. I wish I could say that Brett and Aarav get less annoying when they're drunk, but the bar does have arcade games. We can keep testing the recorder mod for a while if you want, and then head over.
Sounds good.
They set about wasting time in the game. Lisa chops trees for lumber.
What are you building?
A house, dummy. If I take the job, I'm gonna need a place to live.
I'm gonna go mine for diamonds.
Alec produces a pickaxe and swings right for the ground he's standing on.
Whoa, 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 whoa! You dig straight down? That's amateur hour. I can't believe that's not number 4 on Planck's list of dumb ways to die.
I'm impatient, so sue me.
If I trip into your hole and die, you bet I'm suing you. Hey, this whole thing isn't just one big excuse to play more survival instinct, is it?
How could you even say that?
Drinks. At an arcade bar, Lisa, Alec, Brett, and Aarav sit around a table with a stack of board games on it.
Let's play Cards Against Humanity.
I'd maybe rather not.
Let me guess, you hate Cards Against Humanity because politics.
Not even that. I just played it too much already.
Susan says she can't make it, but she sent me this.
我喜欢你.
That means I love you in Mandarin. She tells me all the time.
Wait, play that back for me.
我喜欢你.
Nope. That means I like you. If she really loved you, she'd say, wo ani.
Brett, you only know Chinese from Duolingo.
According to this article, most Chinese people would just say, I love you in English.
No.
One thing's for sure, Alec. You're on thin ice.
Ouch. Seriously though, look at how gorgeous she is.
Passes a photo on his phone around.
Mm-hmm. She's like a 9.
I say 8.
Hey, I wasn't really looking for a contest, more of a tasteful appreciation of feminine beauty, that kind of vibe. You know, Lisa gets it.
Oh, damn. She's a 10.
Yeah, I thought it might bother you, ranking women numerically.
Yeah, it does. But I can't help it. I do it too.
You do?
I rate them all 10. I'm gonna head to the ladies' room.
On her way across the stage, she bumps into and spills her beer on Zander, playing Miss Pac-Man at a retro arcade cabinet.
Oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
Not a dude.
Fuck.
Distracted by Lisa, Zander dies in Miss Pac-Man.
Ah, come on. You made me die.
Sorry. Hey, I'm totally Venmo you for dry cleaning plus 25 cents for the game over.
It's not the money. It's the principle.
What's your name?
It's Zander. She, her.
Did you know that Miss Pac-Man has a more sophisticated processor than original Pac-Man cabinet?
What?
Sometimes I say fun facts when I'm nervous.
Go on.
Some people say Miss Pac-Man is a sexist game because it's just Pac-Man with a bow and lipstick. But the ghost AI in her game is better, so really she's competing in a much tougher arena using all the same skills Pac-Man does. Pretty feminist, if you ask me.
Is that why the patterns don't work?
Patterns?
I read that pros use a pattern for Pac-Man. If you memorize the right moves, you can win every level no matter what. But it doesn't work in this one. I tried it.
Huh. I never heard of that.
That's one of the reasons I like it better. It really bugs me to be told there's only one right way of doing things.
I see that.
Are you here by yourself?
No. Actually, you should meet my...
She looks behind her to see Brett and Aarav doing something obscene at the table.
I mean, we should go somewhere else and chat.
After you, milady.
Return statement. Lisa sits with Kiki on another park bench in New York.
So how'd the interview go?
Good. It was sort of like I had the job before I even showed up.
And what job is this exactly?
I'd be running a survival instinct server for research.
Oh. And you'd need to be in Pittsburgh for that?
I guess so. There's lots of places in New York you could try for. It's a small team. They want everyone on the same page.
You know, there's lots of places in New York you could try for.
There's something about this, though. I think it might be how I help heal the world.
By working with a video game? Not even making one, just modding the game. That guy Crunch made, the guy who attacked you online?
It's more than that. It's a community.
A racist, sexist community.
That I can change.
If you say so.
What are you not saying to me?
Suddenly everything is all about how you're gonna save the world. But what if you just can't?
This research could be huge for the human race. If we can make an AI that navigates 3D space autonomously, we can make every dangerous job go away.
That sounds like the kind of thing that happens in 20 years when the tech is actually ready for the real world.
20 years well spent.
Lisa, the planet is dying. 20 years could be too late. The only real way to save the world is for humanity to stop emitting carbon yesterday. And we didn't because capitalism controls everything and there's no revolution coming.
Wow.
If we don't have much time, why waste it?
If you're not getting drunk and having fun, you're an idiot. That's what Crunch says. Do you agree with him?
Crunch says give up and live for yourself. I'm saying give up and live for love. I think there's a difference.
You love me?
You could stay in New York with me. We could be happy.
I love you too. I met someone in Pittsburgh.
Is that why you've been acting weird?
Yeah. I know I'm a shitty person. I'm sorry, okay?
Well, out of all of this, that's not the part that bothers me.
We stayed up talking all night.
Lisa, I'm polyamorous.
What? Why didn't you tell me that when we started dating?
Because I was, and still am, only dating you. I was going to bring it up when it mattered.
I'm from Utah. This is a big deal for me. Bringing home just one girlfriend to my parents was hard enough.
Didn't they just legalize polygamy or some shit?
Why are you making this a joke right now?
I thought you'd be relieved about this. You're missing the headline here. If you have to take this job, go long distance with me, and also see how things go with this newbie, you can do all that. It's fine.
Really? It's fine. Just like that.
Right. Just like that.
First day. It's Lisa's first day as an employee in Plank Lab. Alec, Brett, and Aarav are there, though Brett and Aarav are coding silently.
So, it's been a few months since we talked. Where are you at with AI? I don't want to, mansplain anything.
I just finished working through the Lisp Paradigms book with my study group.
Ooh, did it have neural networks in it?
Not those, no.
Okay, how to explain these? I think I've got it. Think back to grade school, where hopefully they taught you about function machines.
He fiddles on a computer to put diagrams on the screen center stage.
Simple enough. A number goes into the machine, it performs its function, and another number comes out.
Miss Dawn taught me that.
We can make more complicated function machines, like this one, that has multiple inputs.
Right, yeah.
But there's no real limit to how complicated the machine could be. And wouldn't it be nice if we had a function machine like this one? A function machine complicated enough to turn a screen full of pixels into a decision.
What makes you think that's possible?
Well, assuming you're not a creationist, you must believe that nature didn't know how to make a brain until it solved it by trial and error. We can just copy nature.
Copy nature?
Mimicking the cells in the brain. We know our neural network will be made of gazillions of neurons connected to each other, but it still has to be a function machine. So we can surmise that it will eventually look like this.
Good God.
I wish. But no, this is good evolution.
I'm just saying this is your first diagram. These are 2 and 3. And that is diagram number 4.
Moving on now.
Oh, okay, fine.
We know we're generating a massive set of neurons. We just don't know how to make those neurons smart. Now, I'm going to tell you about genetic algorithms.
Go right ahead.
We start by generating a whole neural network randomly because who the hell knows a better way? Then we set Planck loose in the game. Hey, Brett, get over here.
Brett gets up from his computer and runs to the game space.
Yes, sir.
You be the first neural network. Its neurons are totally random, so he'll probably die fast.
Ouch! I stubbed my toe on a rock. Now it's infected, and now I am dead.
But what if we generated 10,000 other planks, let them die too, and start combining the neurons from the planks that live the longest?
He motions Aarav into the space with Brett.
You want us to combine neurons right here, right now, with a lady present?
Okay, forget it.
I see the point, though. You'd be simulating mutation and natural selection.
Exactly. After a few hundred generations, maybe Plank can find some iodine for his toe infection.
So in this model, each version of Planck lives and dies alone?
Well, yeah.
That's a very masculine perspective on Darwinism.
Is it?
I read an article that said contemporary biologists see communities, not individuals, as the basic unit of evolution. Life supports other life.
Huh. Yeah, this is exactly why we need you on the team. It's those keen insights, like that post you wrote about the game and ecofeminism. Although, don't you think it was kind of a stretch to apply all that theory to a video game?
No way. Especially because the Dune inspiration is plastered all over it. I mean, sandworms? Come on.
What does Dune have to do with it?
It's a textbook ecological parable.
Wait a minute. I thought Dune was about using positive eugenics to create an unstoppable warrior man god.
Well, I thought Dune was about how only a harsh environment can bring out the most sharp and adaptable qualities in a person.
The point of Dune is harnessing indigenous strength to bring hope back to a desert planet.
Brett is listening, but hasn't spoken. The three look at him expectantly.
I've never read it.
You've never read Dune?
That was fitting surprise. Sorry, Brett.
At least I know the important quotes. Fear the mind killer, am I right?
You're dead to me.
What were we talking about?
Genetic algorithms.
Yeah, so you're actually right about those, Lisa. They're not a great way to train a neural network. Genetic algorithms are slow, and when we work with huge neural networks, it starts to look a little something like this.
A black box.
So many neurons that a human engineer could never understand what it's really doing. So in reality, we use more advanced techniques like inverse reinforcement learning, but that's not exactly something I want to get into.
Trust me, me neither.
But it's important to understand basic neural nets. And one more thing.
Yeah?
What we do here is imitation learning. That means there's an important twist on what I just described. When we train a neural network, we are not optimizing for the network that makes Planck survive the longest. We're optimizing for networks that accurately imitate what humans do in the game.
Even if that means training a pig to say cook?
Exactly.
And remind me why this is the most bleeding edge approach to artificial intelligence.
Remember that story you sent me? The one with the robot and the baby?
The robot and the baby.
Yeah, that.
You mean you actually read it?
Well, the robot in the story uses utility theory, which means it can only execute a finite set of actions, and the value it assigns to them is hard-coded in.
Parts of the code make it seem like R781 can come up with original ideas, but yes, they all have to pass through a predetermined value system.
So imagine if Planck has only pre-coded routines and only weighs them for moment-to-moment survival. That version of Planck will be downright boring. All he'll have is, pardon the expression, is survival instinct. We want an AI that can stand in for the best of humans, and humans are way more than that. Our utility Planck could never write Beethoven's Fifth. He has no routine for that. Or maybe even worse, he does have a routine for that, but the algorithm doesn't think that it's useful enough.
That would be a bummer.
Boo! Get off the stage!
Dihydrate. 6 weeks later. At the arcade bar again, Lisa and Zander do a shot together at the bar. Alec, Brett, and Aarav face off in a spirited game of warlords. Alec gets a phone call.
Oh, it's Susan. I have to answer this.
He exits, losing the game almost immediately.
So, what do you think of the team?
Honestly, I love those guys. I've been doing league scrims with Brett and Aarav. What's the deal with that name anyway?
Thank you for not asking him directly. We're definitely making good progress on the microaggressions.
Yeah, but like, what does it mean?
It means peaceful.
We look back at the warlords table to see Aarav has Brett in a headlock.
Admit, I would have won.
There's no rule against throwing salt in the opponent's eyes.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
How is this whole polyamory thing, working for you?
I think it's great. I wanted to tell you I'm in love with the barista who always misgenders me.
And that's totally fine by me. Except, well, it sounds bad for your self-esteem.
Oh, totally in love. Hey, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
You don't seem happy about the job anymore. What happened?
Maybe it's just reality setting in, but when I started out, I really thought I would have more input and that Planck could do more for the world.
Tell me all of your ideas.
Lisa whispers in Xander's ear. Zander looks delighted.
If you tell Alec, he'll have to do it.
Alec re-enters, dejected. He finds Brett and Aarav having made up, playing a cooperative Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
Hey, Alec, get in on this ass.
Yeah, eat Ninja Turtle ass with us.
Not right now.
Hey, what happened? Is something going on with Sarah?
Susan. And yeah, we're done.
She dumped you?
Well, she was very clear about not using the words breakup or dump. She's transforming our relationship into a close friendship.
Well, that's good, right?
Yeah, if you say so.
Lisa and Zander drunkenly barge in.
Yo, Alec, when are we going to open Planck factories?
What?
Well, you said that once Planck can navigate, he's already be smart enough to replace a lot of factory workers with dangerous jobs. Someday, all the industrial production in the world could be done by robots with the lights out. Dark factories, you said, but more like Planck factories.
Can this conversation wait for work hours tomorrow?
No! Because when I try to talk big picture, you're always saying, patience, grasshopper. Bitch, I'm not your fucking grasshopper.
Okay, so you were saying, Planck factories. You want to make large swaths of the American workforce obsolete, put them out of jobs.
24-hour factories would be more productive too. We just distribute the profit to displaced workers.
Lisa, who's going to invest in that business model?
Or if we were recording data from the water update, Planck could learn to swim. We could send underwater drone planks into the ocean to save the turtles from six-pack strangleplastic and clean up oil spills and stuff.
You know it, girl.
We don't have the resources to update the recorder mod yet. The water update is so far off for us.
I'm just saying, Planck could save the planet. And then sweatshops and slavery.
Save the planet.
Armed Planck bots patrolling the Amazon rainforest and shooting down the motherfuckers who keep burning it.
Brap.
Wow. Just wow.
We could send a strike force to lay waste to the masses of the 1%, leveling the economic playing field and ushering in a communist blood moon.
The stage is awash in red light. as a hammer and sickle arise on the screen.
Militant communism, yo.
We're doing none of that. We're not going to break the fucking law.
What's his deal?
He got dumped.
Well, transformed.
I wouldn't worry about it. He'll be back to normal tomorrow.
The first law of robotics. About a week later, Lisa enters Plink Lab holding a printout of an article. She finds Brett, Aarav, and Alec already working. She slaps the article down in front of Alec.
Look at this shit. The Pentagon promises to use artificial intelligence for good, not evil, my ass. The Pentagon, by definition, only does evil.
And what do you have against five-sided shapes?
Hardy har har. No, I mean the nationalist military-industrial complex. Do you know the Supreme Court ruled that immigration agents can't be prosecuted for literally murdering Mexicans if they do it on the south side of the border? This is what we're coming to. All the shit I said about Planck defending the rainforest, killing billionaires, that was wrong. Very wrong. If our tech can commit murder, someone will use it against us. I did some digging, and we have some legal options. If we move our code base to the Hippocratic license, we can make sure no one ever comes to harm by the work we've done here.
I think the opposite. I think our final solution should be using Plink to wipe out all white people.
Hey!
Can't tell if you're kidding, but I hope not, because that would be the awesomest, bloodiest dissertation of all time.
Lisa, in all seriousness, I appreciate your concern, but we're not going to change the license of the code.
Do you want to be Conrad, not a Nazi Zeus? Or do you want to be Alan Turing?
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
It means the world's going to shit and all you care about is making tech, not how it could impact humanity.
Have you seen what Planck can do lately? He's not about to impact anyone.
Then maybe we should be doing something else altogether.
Please don't do this. I need you on board.
What if Planck's not enough for me?
Can you be like R781? Think of him like Travis the meth baby. Maybe you can't love him, but can you please learn to pretend to?
Love the fucking baby yourself. I can stay with the team, but if you won't listen to me, I'll find my own way to do something.
Blocked. A week later, Lisa enters the lab with a spring in her step. She carries an armful of comic books. Brett and Aarav sit at their computers. Brett is reading a comic like the ones Lisa has.
Morning, gentlemen. Brett, I know you're not done with World of Wakanda #1, but I brought you the next one. I also brought something new. It's called Skin and Earth.
Does it have lesbian sex in it?
You bet it passes the horny Bechdel test. I think it's an issue 4 or 5, so be patient.
You know me. Hey, guess what? I know you convinced me to read these with the sexual content, but I'm actually picking up newfound respect for women.
Uh-huh. Right.
Alec enters, upset.
Lisa, will you stop distracting Brett and get to work?
He walks around and discovers that Aarav, seemingly working, has really been playing a game on his computer.
What is this?
Starbound.
You're wasting time playing games and it's not even survival instinct? We could at least be recording data, goddammit.
I'm just so sick of SI, dude.
Hey, why are you on everyone's case? You're late.
I got called before the Departmental Review Board. They say someone in IT discovered unwanted network traffic coming out of our lab. Our machines have been mining cryptocurrency for someone.
Oh shit, we got a virus?
We've been working together long enough that I know you and Brett didn't fall for anything. So Lisa, click on any weird ads lately?
God, no, of course not.
All right. I guess that only leaves the possibility that we've been hacked. It's also probable that the hacker's entry point was our SI server. So once again, not to be a dick, but I'm looking at you, Lisa.
Can I talk to you privately?
So what? You're going to call me sexist for bringing up the two most likely causes?
No, it's not that.
Spit it out.
About a week ago, I made a change.
What? So you know what happened?
I snuck it into another commit so no one would know. I embedded bail block in the recorder mod.
The fuck? What is that?
A social justice project. It mines crypto to donate to the bail fund to detained immigrants.
You did this on purpose?
Look, I wasn't thinking clearly.
And you hid it from us!
Remember a month ago when I was having such a hard time? I asked for a code review process and you said it was impossible because you three should be spending every minute on the ML side of things.
Oh, that has nothing to do with this.
I'm just saying, if anyone had been verifying my code like I asked, you would have caught this.
Oh, no. There's no way you're turning this into my fault. That's insane. Okay. Wait a minute. You said this went out in the recorder mod?
Yes.
So we rolled it out to all of our players.
Mm-hmm.
So we tricked hundreds of people into mining crypto for your anarchist.
No one even noticed.
Lisa, this is so fucking unethical.
More unethical than doing nothing while there are refugees in cages on the border?
Yes! I mean, no. I mean, I don't know. What were you thinking?
What happened to the old Alec?
He's about to lose his PhD. Oh, this is so much worse than the review board already thinks. They could shut us down.
I'll go in. I'll stand in front of them and say it was my fault. You can roll the code back, but everything will return back to normal.
They'd fire you.
It's me or the whole lab. Sorry, I fucked up. It's been fun.
He leaves. Alec, floored, goes to sit at his desk.
Hey, where are you going?
Yeah, where are you going?
Home.
End of Act 1.
There will now be a 5-minute intermission. For the rest of the reading, the role of Brett will be played by Keira Stogin. And Will be taking over one of the other roles that was played by Jack, and that will be Review Board 2, I believe. So if everybody is ready to continue, I think we are set to go. Yeah, thank you.
Act 2, Linegan versus the Ants. Version control. A lifetime ago. Spotlight on Lisa, a teenager, sitting alone in the corner of the high school computer lab. The room is lively with gamer bros goofing off around her. Mr. Ellison sits at his desk, absorbed on his screen.
Lisa Bradford.
Lisa hesitantly goes to his desk.
I'm seeing here that your grade is an F. You're 2 weeks behind on the textbook quizzes. I told you on the first day of class, and I'll say it again, this is not the career path for you. I strongly recommend withdrawing from my class.
But Mr. Ellison...
No, but I can't fix stupid.
Lisa slumps her shoulders and goes back to her computer. Alec is there, glancing at her code.
Hey, you wrote this? Are you making a game?
Oh, yeah. It's a text adventure.
Huh.
I was just about to delete it.
Wait, what?
And drop this class. I'm failing.
That's not possible. I mean, look at your code.
What? You're gonna flatter me and try to get a date?
No, I was gonna say, look at your code. It's good enough.
How am I gonna catch up on the quizzes though?
Never fear. You see, I decompiled the teacher's quiz program, and it turns out the answers are all in a plain text file hidden in app data/roaming.
You're saying...
Just cheat. You're beyond the textbook anyway.
But he'd know immediately if my scores shoot to 100% all of a sudden.
Not if we steal the class average scores for each problem and make a bot that fills the quiz out for you, adding delays according to the relative difficulty for each question.
What are you doing right now? We should probably get working on that.
Way ahead of you, making us a GitHub repo.
What's a GitHub repo?
Oh, it stores our code on the cloud, but it also tracks all the revisions. So no matter how much we break the code, no matter how foobar it gets, we can always go back to a point where it worked.
That's amazing. What's foobar?
Oh, fucked up beyond all repair. Fun fact, it's a World War II slang.
Why does everything have to be about war in here?
I don't know. So why don't you start getting up to speed on the Git commands? I'm supposed to be in AP US right now. Oh, Mr. Ellison lets me skip my other classes in here sometimes. Look, I gotta go. But hey, my band is playing Scalloween this weekend. You should come.
Ska is white people music.
We're not a ska band.
Alec leaves. Lights out again. Roll with it. Present day. Lisa stands with dread before the door to the review board meeting. She goes to open it, but balks. She takes her phone out and writes a text.
Gotta get it over with. About to turn myself in. Skull emoji.
Across the stage, Alec is half-heartedly picking on a bass guitar. His phone buzzes and he reads Lisa's message. Forlorn, he tries to focus on the music.
Just gotta get it over with. I'll take Zander back to New York and we'll move in with Kiki and I'll get a new job and it'll all be great.
On his bass, Alec stumbles into playing the bass line of a certain iconic song from 1987.
Oh, Eureka! Eureka!
He pulls his phone out and calls Lisa.
Alec, where are you calling?
Take me in with you and put me on speakerphone.
What? Alec, there's nothing you can say to them to get me out of this.
In fact, if there's an aux cord in the conference room, plug me into it.
Okay, if you say so.
Lisa opens the door and walks in to meet the review board. 3 sorta stuffy administrators.
Lisa Bradford, I presume. Alex Himmel told us you have an explanation for the compliance issue we discovered.
Yeah, I do. But before I tell my side of the story, I think he has something else to say.
Does he?
Lisa hunts down an aux cord connected to the room's speakers.
Alec, you're on.
Loud as hell, Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up" blares through the room. Alec crosses into the simulated stage, playing the bass line and jamming out in front of the music video playing on screen.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you.
The song keeps playing in the background while Lisa and Alec converse.
Alec, what are you doing?
I'm rickrolling these assholes. What does it look like?
Review board members look at each other, totally lost. Pretty sure they should be outraged, but not completely.
My second career suicide is not the appropriate time for a Halloween callback.
We don't need to explain ourselves to anyone. I found another way to save the project.
You did?
Fuck yeah, I did. Meet me back at the lab.
Genesis 6-7. Once again, Michael Plotson, Crunch, has the stage to himself.
Fox survival instinct. Ever since I hit it big, I've had to hire more and more buffoons to keep updating this thing for the slavering hordes. These fans are like monsters. I never should have shown my face for those servants' con interviews.
A child walks on stage and notices Crunch. After taking a moment to recognize who he is, the child unhinges their jaw and stares at Crunch, mouth gaping wide open.
Kid on the street recognized me the other day. Went nuts, looked at me with its mouth open like it had never seen a billionaire before. Like it wanted to eat me. Like the Enderman in Minecraft. And in that moment I realized, if I were to look away, were to so much as blink, this kid would chase me down like a specter with a vengeance. But eventually I had to do it.
Crunch turns and runs off in one swift motion. The child snaps and follows after him with violent intensity.
Mr. Crunch, I need your autograph.
Silence and an empty stage. Eventually, Crunch reappears.
I'm burning everything to the ground. No more survival instinct. I'll make a new game. One that will eclipse all of my past successes. And when I'm done, no one will even remember any of this.
He exits. Hunger Games. Lisa enters Plank Lab to find it turned into a war room. Alec is using a whiteboard to share the battle plan with Brett and Aarav.
$5,000 for first place should be enough to get people's attention.
Nah, dog. Esports tournaments can be up in the hundreds of thousands.
10,000 then. And we'll just have to target casual players. You two start posting in every subreddit, chat room, social network you can think of. We need massive buzz. I'll start putting together a live stream.
What's this?
Notice Lisa has arrived.
Lisa! We're crowdfunding.
Alec motions Brett and Aarav get to work.
This doesn't look like your average kid's Kickstarter campaign.
We're throwing competitive Hunger Games. Players pay to enter, we let them kill each other in PvP mode, and winner of the most matches takes home a cash prize.
What? So you're gambling the rest of our grant on this?
Got a better idea?
Don't blow off your institutional funding. Just let me fall on my sword for this.
Brett, Aarav, let's have a lab-wide vote. Raise your hand if you think Lisa should be fired and we keep going like normal. Now, raise your hand if Lisa stays, we find a way to make our own money, and we start an initiative to help Plank make a real social impact.
You've all gone insane.
That is subtle mentalism.
You're really gonna make me go along with this, huh?
Oh, you're goddamn right.
Well, first things first. I don't think we can call it Hunger Games, legally speaking.
So we call it something games. You come up with that, and I'll make a logo.
One more thing. I don't think social media will give us the reach we need for this.
Got a better idea?
We get YouTubers on board. I'm thinking Shirley Curry, for starters.
Who's Shirley Curry?
The Skyrim grandma? She's fucking adorable and a genuine celebrity.
Okay, go for it. But you're also going to need to run some stress tests on the server before we go live. We can survive about a week as a lab with what we have left, so we're really going to have to crunch.
Fuck crunch.
We're really going to have to marathon to put it all together in time.
1 week later, the play space is a chaos of Hunger Gamers come to play Virtual Gladiator. Each one has a username plate over their head with something clever or stupid on it. Brett and Aarav and Alec stand outside the play space while Lisa sits at a computer prepared to press a button and kick off the event.
This is big. This could work.
I'm going to give it 1 more minute for Shirley Curry to kick off her live stream.
Shirley Curry, real-life octogenarian YouTuber, makes a cameo appearance on screen.
Good morning, grandkids. Today I have a very special mission. I'm going to be playing Survival Instinct to save the world with science.
Oh my God. You told her we're going to save the world?
Desperate times called. They want their measures back.
That doesn't even make sense.
Today, Plank Lab is hosting a free-for-all death match in which all participants will be recorded in order to train AI emergency response robots. That's all great, but everyone here is also vying for a hefty cash prize. As a huge fan of killing, looting, and blowing things up, I intend to crush the competition. Grandma's bringing home the prize.
Okay, I'll admit that she's pretty great.
Okay, I think we're ready to launch.
Hold up.
Brett and Aarav hop into the play space and prepare their battle positions.
No. You two do not get to compete.
We paid our $20, dude.
Fine, but only because I know you're not going to win.
Major ouch.
Kick it off, Lisa.
Beethoven's Fifth Symphony booms throughout the room. Fartimus, a petulant teenager, enters the play space.
Sorry I'm late. I am Fartimus, son of Poopert. My ex-stepmom found my dad's browser history and destroyed his computer with a baseball bat. To right this wrong, I will win the prize money for my father.
I'm almost rooting for him.
Fartimus immediately gets struck by a javelin.
Oh!
Aarav plunges a sword through Brett's back, then yanks it out, spraying blood all over.
No! Asshole! I thought we were a team!
Universe is a dark forest, man. What do you want from me?
Aarav gets struck to the heart by a crossbow bolt.
Oh, oh, come on.
This might end faster than I expected.
You set it up for multiple rounds, right?
Yep. I planned for everything that could possibly.
Suddenly, a Hunger Gamer clutches their chest and drops dead for no reason.
Whoa. Did you see that?
It starts happening to everyone still alive. Bodies pile.
This book isn't my fault, I swear.
The spotlight falls on Crunch as he walks into the play space to make an announcement.
Attention, fuckfaces. You may have heard of me. I'm the genius who made this game. But I got sick of it. So now I'm going through every official server, hitting the kill switch. Game over. Welcome to instant permadeath mode.
Does this mean he technically wins the tournament?
Shut the fuck up, Brent.
Crunch kicks a dead player corpse and laughs.
Come to my TED Talk tomorrow for the announcement of my next project, losers.
He leaves. The play space goes dark and the Hunger Gamers disappear. Brett and Aarav emerge without the wounds they suffered virtually.
Well, this is fucked.
We're gonna have to refund all those people for the tournament.
No way. We can't afford to do that. How do we get this back online?
If Crunch really broke every official server, then we can't. There are open source alternative servers, but I'd have to port all of our mods to a new API. It's not happening in the next 24 hours.
Refunds it is. And I guess we should all start seeking new employment.
Alec, no.
Drinks?
Drinks.
Brett and Aarav leave.
We'll figure this out tomorrow. For now, I think we should go with those guys and unwind.
Lisa leads a catatonic Alec out of the lab. Funeral kiss. Alec, Lisa, Brett, and Aarav sit at the bar in that order. They take a shot together.
Oh, you know, even if you did confess in front of the review board, I don't think it would have worked. They've hated our project all along.
How many more drinks for you to cheer up and join me in denial?
At least one more.
They order another round. Alec gets distracted, making eyes at a woman further down the bar. Lisa turns to Brett and Aarav.
What about you two? Still sad about all of this?
Not really.
We're employable as shit.
They fist bump.
We sunk a lot of hours into this, but not like Alec. It's like he tore his heart and soul out to put into plank.
That's deep, bro. Want to play Warlords?
You read my mind.
Brett and Aarav go off. Alec is still stealing glances at a woman.
So what's the deal? You gonna go talk to her?
Oh, probably not.
She's basically I fucking you though. I'd go for it.
I think I'm interested in someone else.
Really? Who?
Oh, just a few different people, actually.
More than one. That's great. We could be polyamorous pals.
Your turn. Tell me about your relationship. What is it like making that work?
Well, I definitely like being a function machine with more than one input.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you went there right away.
What? No, I mean, like, in a romantic way. My love for both of them is different. I mean, like, if we were brains in a jar, they'd each be stimulating different lobes or whatever.
The woman who was flirting with Alec gets annoyed and leaves.
It's hard being long distance, Kiki, but at least she's visiting soon.
And Zander?
There's something with her I'm just stuck in my head about.
What?
I can't say it. It's not mine to talk about.
How many more drinks for you to lighten up and say it already?
Okay, fine. But only because Xander's not shy about this stuff like a lot of other trans people.
Tell me.
She isn't going to have bottom surgery. Her dick is officially a permanent fixture.
I was wondering. 'Cause you're totally gay, right?
I don't really know what that word means anymore. Or if it describes me.
No?
Sex with Zander was definitely weird at first, but now I guess I started asking myself, would I still enjoy this dick if its owner used he, him pronouns?
Oh. Whoa. Okay. Who thinks like that? You are so weird.
Hear me out. If sexuality isn't set in stone, and if I'm free to act on every feeling I have, we've been leaning towards the phrase relationship anarchy instead of just polyamory, then wouldn't it make sense to try on a label like demi or pansexual?
Lesbianism not complicated enough for you?
It's like you said, the brain has its own language for testing the structure and consistency of the world.
I didn't say that. Carl Sagan said that.
And if my brain is using the wrong language, and if I miss out on beautiful connections in it, wouldn't that be so sad?
I don't think you have to date every potential partner who's out there. I mean, how many people out there could really be a perfect match?
But that's my point. One could be sitting right in front of me, and I'd just be letting them get away.
You are the world's first and only FOMO sexual.
That's pretty good. Hey, where'd Brett and Aarav go?
I think they went home a while ago. Should we head out too?
I don't mind staying. Today was a lot. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Alec kisses her on the lips.
That's not exactly what I had in mind.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Lisa stands up to leave.
I'll see you at the lab tomorrow. I really think we could figure out the server problem. Have a good night.
TED Talk. Next morning, Brett, Aarav, and Alec sit in Plink Lab streaming Crunch's TED Talk. Crunch enters the play space to act it out live.
Yesterday, I finally did something I've been meaning to for years. I killed Survival Instinct, the most popular video game of all time.
Most popular of all time. Does he have stats to back that up?
Definitely not.
To feed my flair for the dramatic, I destroyed my magnum opus in spectacular fashion. One by one, I logged on to every server, and with my all-powerful keyboard, I typed the command that makes every player die forever. And as I stood there among the dead bodies of my slobbering fans, I knew exactly what my next game would be. A game harder and more sophisticated to make sure only smart people play it, and none of the idiots who like Survival Instinct.
Is he talking about us?
Yeah, I think we're the idiots.
I'm going to adapt the unadaptable masterpiece. That's right, the classic story, Leiningen versus the Ants. You've probably never heard of it.
Googling it now.
I'm like the only person who's ever read this story, and that makes me better than you.
He is so full of shit. This has been adapted like 10 times, as recently as 2 years ago.
Who approved this talk?
Yeah, I've sort of suspected that anyone rich or famous enough can give a TED Talk on whatever they want.
but I'll summarize the story for some of the slower audience members. In this story, Leiningen is a dashing plantation owner who's prepared for anything.
Lisa is gonna hate this.
Has anyone seen her today?
When a district commissioner tells Leiningen that his farm will soon be under siege by giant carnivorous ants, Leiningen is not afraid. He knows that he designed his stronghold with every possible disaster in mind. So he refuses to send away his 400 workers, and he stays to defend his land.
Something OSHA violations?
Huh?
That's just what Lisa would say.
And I'm getting bored talking about something someone else wrote, so yada, 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 lots of his workers die, but Leiningen wins in the end, killing every last pathetic ant. I'm going to make a game about that feeling. I call it, Fuck These Tiny Monsters.
On the screen behind him, an animation plays. It's a swarm of ants getting crushed repeatedly by a brick wall with FTTM written on it in blood.
You play as Leiningen, or, to satisfy the SJWs, as a female character named Leinenjet. FTTM will use the same engine as Survival Instinct. You have 5 hours to collect resources and build the perfect fortress before you'll have to fend off waves of vicious insects controlled by sophisticated learning AI.
Guys.
Admittedly, I've never made a game with real AI, but I assume it will be easy, and I'll knock it out of the park like I always do.
This is how we save Plank. He doesn't know it, but he needs our tech. If the engine is the same, we barely have to change anything. I have to write an email.
Alec sits at his computer and types furiously. While he does, Lisa enters the lab.
I'm assuming I'll just watch the same live stream of Crunch masturbating over his new idea.
Yeah, can I talk to you a second?
Alec pulls Lisa aside so Brett and Aarav can't hear.
Where were you?
Sitting in my car. I watched it on my phone.
Okay. Listen, about last night, if there's absolutely anything I can do to make things normal between us...
Just forget it. I finally came in here because I know what you're planning next, and we cannot do it.
Do what?
Work for Crunch. I know you thought of it because I did too. And I know Plank is your baby, but even killing him is better than selling him to someone like Crunch.
The game sounds fun though, right?
Leiningen versus the ants. I've read it. It's disgusting. Crunch thinks he's Leiningen, and let me tell you, when you work for Leiningen, you are expendable.
What choice do we have?
We stick with Survival Instinct. Like I said, there's an open source server implementation that's almost just as good. People are still playing it.
Is it legal?
It's a gray area. Since it doesn't use any of Crunch's original code, and if we release our own texture pack, so we're not distributing any of the copyrighted art assets.
And what if he sues us? You want to make your legal gray area defense in front of a judge? I can't rickroll a judge.
Please, just let me make a demo.
Okay, fine. But there's no way we can match the funding he has on our own. And I already sent the email. If Crunch is interested in us, there's no other way forward.
Aarav notices Lisa and Alec still debating in hushed tones.
Get a room, you two.
Ugh. I'm going home, but I'll be back here with a demo server at 9 a.m. sharp.
Too late. Without a wink of sleep, Lisa arrives the next morning at 10 a.m. Crunch is there, shaking hands with Alec.
Sounds like we have a deal.
Wait, you need to leave.
Oh, you need to clear out for the cleaning staff or something?
No. This is Lisa. She's our server engineer. And she's making a joke.
No, I'm not. This man can kiss
Alec
my...
yanks Lisa aside.
Look, I know this sucks, but please, just...
I finished my server. I was up all night, Alec, but it works. You could at least look at it before you give that monster control of what we're building here.
No, Lisa, I can't. This is the only way we move forward.
Then maybe we shouldn't move forward. This man ruined my career. Did you ever think of that?
I didn't know that working with me constituted a ruined career.
Hey, Lizzie, was it? Have I met you before? Talked online or something?
Yeah, I'm just the pontificating cunt who you threw under the bus.
No. I'm sure you two haven't met. Lisa isn't even on Twitter, so this must be...
That's weird, because I can't
misunderstanding.
remember talking to a black woman in the last...
Well, why don't we talk about something else? Like, isn't it so cool that you were able to fly out here on such short notice?
Lisa pulls Alec aside again, but Crunch is obvious and plows forward anyway.
It's actually a funny story. I was about to look at flights when I saw this article saying airplanes are hotbeds for this new disease, the coronavirus.
You see this? He ignores me, he only listens to you, and even then, just barely.
They say it's super lethal and it's gonna spread like wildfire. I don't believe in that shit. Plus, my immune system is really good. But I thought, fuck it, and I just bought myself a private jet.
That is so bad for the environment.
It's funny you should mention COVID, Michael, because it's actually possible that games like Survival Instinct could be used to study viral infection patterns. And if things keep escalating at this rate...
Did you just call me Michael? No one calls me that. You can either call me God or Mr. Plotson.
Mr. Plotson, as I was saying, I think we could make a real difference.
I hope this was your plan all along, Alec. We can make him bring SI back.
Not if it involves bringing back Survival Instinct, Alex. That game is just another tiny monster, and I say, fuck it.
On a more local scale, I've been thinking as a lab, we might have to go remote. It shouldn't be a problem for 90% of what we do, and we'd all be leading the way on safe response practices.
Out of the question. What's really going on here is this. You're a bunch of disgraced postgraduate students with no industry experience, and I'm hiring you for cheap 80-hour work weeks packed in a room together with no breaks and no boundaries. That is how games are made. And as far as the Chinese virus goes, you could bring some hand sanitizer in here. I don't care.
Like I said, he's lining in.
And Rob enter the lab just as Crunch exits.
So how'd it go?
Did I hear him say Chinese virus? Because I personally take offense.
Crunch pops his head back in the door.
One more thing before I'm out of here. It's crunch time now, baby.
Minimum viable product. Weeks later, it's Plank Lab, Quarantine Edition. The team has sleeping bags, hand sanitizer, and lots of boxed food lying around.
Whoa. Who made the branch in our repo called Genetic Algorithms?
Oh, shit, that's...
Have you been making commits we don't know about for the last week?
It's just a little experiment. I must have pushed it upstream by accident.
Yeah, accident is right. This is a full re-implementation you've been hiding from us.
What? Not fucking cool.
Hear me out on this one. All Crunch wants is a big, dumb horde of ants. We can give him that using such simpler methods he would never know.
We've all watched the same TED Talk where he promised the whole world a game built on real machine learning, right? Lisa, Crunch might not glance twice at our code, but shit, I taught you about decompilers on the first day we met. The modding community will know what we did day one after launch.
So fucking what? If the game is good, why would Crunch even care? We'd be paid already, and his ass is way too lazy to do anything against us.
Right. If the game is good.
If you saw what I have the AI doing in my branch, you'd see.
Okay, I'll bite. Your implementation looks good, but I'll just show you how even the best genetic algorithms are fundamentally shitty for what we need.
Go right ahead.
All right. I'm throwing your version of Plank into the old tree chop experiment. The goal is to chop 64 trees, so before we train him up, let's agree on a fair reward function. How about just the number of trees destroyed?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Look, he's training. Hundreds of thousands of planks, chopping trees and breeding to create the best possible lumberjack. And now he's ready.
The survivor, as Plank, enters the play space once again. The screen shows a flat, simple forest environment. Plank jumps up to break 2 sticks off a tree branch. Then he puts the 2 sticks together to make a campfire. He places the campfire in a thickly wooded area, then sets about gathering more sticks. He throws the sticks into the fire. It grows bigger and bigger. The fire spreads to the trees and goes wild until it consumes Plank himself. He lets out a computerized scream as he burns to death in his own conflagration. Text appears on the screen. Time taken to chop 64 trees, 1 minute.
Wow.
I'm right.
Wow. No, that was a lot of bullshit. You made a straw man argument. You wrote a shitty reward function because you knew what would happen.
Wouldn't that technically be called a straw plank argument?
Shut up.
Shut up.
Look, you agreed it was a good reward function.
It seemed like it, yeah, but that's why we test these things.
Huh. You think any amount of testing will be enough to prove this garbage algorithm is good enough? Let me tell you, if it's not real machine learning, there will always be something missing.
I'm sensing this isn't about making a good game for you. It's still about Plank.
We are so close to doing this right. Please don't give up on me now.
Crunch versus the ants. Lisa wakes up in her sleeping bag 6 feet apart from Brett and Aarav, who are still snoring. Alec is coding diligently.
Did you sleep last night?
Crunch is coming to see what we have today.
What? Actually coming here? Why?
He lives alone. Maybe he just needs basic human contact like the rest of us.
Poor Mr. Plotson. All cramped up in his fucking mansion, so he has to hop on his private jet to crash his Code Monkey sleepover.
Crunch enters.
Mr. Plotson, I hope your flight was smooth.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's just you. Thought we were being robbed by toilet paper marauders.
Toilet paper marauders?
Gotta love these two.
Alec throws Crunch a bottle of hand sanitizer. Crunch puts it down without using any, then coughs some more.
Oh. Shall we get this demo over with?
Fine, if you want to get rid of me that badly.
Crunch follows Alec to stand next to the play space. Lisa, wearing latex gloves, picks up the hand sanitizer he touched and drops it in the trash.
So, Plank is making huge strides,
Who's
actually.
Plank?
That's just what we call the AI. All right. Look,
Survivor, as Plank, enters the play space, this time with purpose.
he can navigate 3 space in search of arbitrary targets. He gets resources. He even crafted a pickaxe.
Why is it human? Why are you saying he? You're making AI for the ants.
We know. It's just there's no model for ants and survival instinct. We're just working with the assets we have. Plus, we're kind of fond of this guy.
Dump it. We don't need any of this.
Excuse me?
I'm serious. The ants don't need tools or navigation. They're there to make the player think he's smart. Haven't you ever played a video game?
Crunch presses his thumb on the delete key and begins erasing Alec's life work before his eyes. The other lab members drift over as they sense a storm brewing.
You had us slaving away here, trying to make some fucked up set piece for your empowerment fantasy. and we make you something amazing, and you say fucking dump it?
We have families we haven't even seen. We're putting other people in danger by working in close proximity.
Hey, I know the guidelines, and if working on Michael fucking Plotson's next game doesn't count as essential labor, I don't know what does.
I can't believe this.
Guys, this is just a setback.
Get the fuck out, you tiny little man!
Fine. But I still own all of this code, and you're not doing shit with it.
Crunch exits.
Alec, I'm glad you finally did the right thing, but I miss my girlfriends.
She's the next one out the door. Brett and Aarav exchange an awkward glance.
Hey.
What now? You shouldn't be touching your face.
Can we go home now?
I think it's time for that, yeah.
Alec, we're gonna leave. Do you need a ride?
Brett and Aarav are out. Brief reunion. Lisa knocks on an apartment door. Zander opens it and is flabbergasted.
Lisa, oh my god, it's you. Oh, hey, it's okay. Air hug.
Lisa goes in for the real thing. They hold each other, and Zander lets Lisa inside.
Whenever you're ready, can you just tell me what happened?
It's all over. I'm home now.
And what about everyone else?
They're still at the lab. They'll find another way to survive, but I'm done.
Zander's phone beeps.
Is that why, Aarav just invited me to play League?
They wouldn't have.
He sent me a selfie.
Screen shows Brett and Aarav reunited with their shared apartment. Caption, home at last.
No, they left Alec!
Lisa disentangles from Zander and is out the door again. Zander shakes her head and exits, presumably to play League. Fubar. Back at the lab, Alec is in front of a computer.
Crunch thinks he can just delete my code. Well, has he ever heard of git revert? There it is. No matter how broken, back just the way it was. And now that should do it.
He makes a file on the desktop called readme.txt and starts typing in it.
When I started building Plank, I already knew the world was foobar. I guess in the end, I thought maybe with all the data, we could make some kind of Earth 2.0 in the game, like a digital mausoleum of human intelligence left to play itself out after whatever crisis finally does away with the real deal.
He yanks a power cord out of the wall and begins tying it into a noose.
But that was too big. So I thought, at least I can live on. I started my own data set. Just Alec, thinking when I'm gone, as long as the science marches forward, they can take my data and train better and better planks until one of them is really me in all of his glory.
He secures his noose to the ceiling and starts piling boxes of quarantine food beneath it.
This is all just poetic, though. I know a brain is just billions of more neurons than a CPU, and transistors can't come close to feeling what I can, but that was always the problem.
Just as Alec steps onto his makeshift platform, Lisa enters the lab, breathless.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Alec, what is this?
You forgot your headphones, right? They're over there.
No, Alec, I came back for you.
She sees the code Alec started running before she arrived, and also his suicide note.
What the hell? Are you planning to kick it while your code compiles?
It's training a new plank. You can talk to him when I'm gone.
So what? You're trying to be immortal by living on in a video game?
It's the best I can hope for.
How am I supposed to talk you down from this?
You're not.
Wait. Remember when I first started here, you told me Plank is deaf. He doesn't react to sounds or music. I could have fixed that, but I never did. Music! That's such a big part of you. And he can't even do it. Frick Astley to Beethoven's Fifth, he'll hear none of it. Forever.
Alec breaks down in tears and steps down from the platform, safe. Lisa sits them both on the floor and holds his hand in hers. She types out a message on her phone. Across the stage, Zander re-enters reading Lisa's message at home.
Alec, suicidal. Call 911. Oh my god!
Zander exits while dialing the phone. Lisa and Alec sit in silence. Red and blue lights of an ambulance flood through the windows of Plank Lab. Epilogue. 1 month later. Lisa and Zander are together on a couch, stuck inside for the quarantine. Zander fiddles with a game controller. Kiki is also on stage, but joining them via video call, maybe knitting something. Zander throws down her controller.
Damn it, I am so sick of Dark Souls.
We could try playing a game with a story.
Boring.
Sometimes I wish we could just redo your gender socialization. I really want to show Kiki Gone Home.
Yes, that's the gay one, right?
Or we could play the CSGO map that's set in Gone Home House.
Shooting guns in the place where Sam helped Lonnie dye her hair for the first time? No, thank you.
Give me a minute to get ready.
Okay, we can play Gone Home, but there's something else I want to try for 10 minutes first. And don't get mad at me when I tell you tell me you know what's bad for sure.
She presses start. The screen lights up with a title screen. A familiar voice booms from the TV.
Michael Plotson presents FTTM. Fuck these tiny monsters.
No.
It's okay.
For the
I can handle it.
For the first playable demo, he sure put a lot of work into the title screen.
She starts playing. There are sounds of epic ant slaying.
I fully expect this to be boring, but if it is any good, I promise I'll never support Crunch with a single cent. I'll find a torrent and pirate this bitch.
Good girl.
Fuck! I just fell in like a random hole and broke my leg. Did one of those ants dig it?
Ha! Crunch must still be using Alec's data. He said he didn't need it, but...
Hey, what happened to him after he went to the hospital?
He tried calling me once or twice. I couldn't talk to him.
But he's okay.
Safe? Yes. He's getting help now. But I think he quit after the rest of us. And that's gotta be...
Hey, it's not your job to worry anymore.
You're right. So, how's the game?
Boring. It's totally boring.
I wonder if my name is in the credits.
End of play.
Hey, everybody. Woo, I'm in the dark now. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to have a short talk back with the playwright and the director and the dramaturg. If you all would turn your cameras on, and then we'll have some time to chat with those folks about the play. And I will, Matt, if you're ready to take it away, I'm ready to let you take over if you'd like to. I will be standing by if you need anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about ready, but first up, let's give it up again for Nat for writing the script and for Allie for directing. I think they both did a really wonderful job. So I guess just to start this off, I think Nat had a couple questions.
For myself?
Yeah, well, you had some for you as well, but I know we wanted to get input from some key people that were in the audience. I think you said that your mother, Laura, and your grandmother, Phyllis, are in the audience. And we wanted to hear a bit from them, what their thoughts and feelings were. So do you want to start off with that?
Yeah, in the most surprising and inconsiderate of moves, I want to call upon them out of nowhere. I think it would be funny to hear from some of the family members who sat through this, who have been so excited, and I was worried the whole time about how technical and how heavy the whole script is, wondering if they're in the chat or if they want to unmute their microphones and if they have any just, gut reactions to share.
So I don't know what that background is, but.
Okay, this is my mom. I love you, Mom.
So I think that probably I'm just gonna say I must have enjoyed this play more than anyone else because it just was so much of you in it. Like the references, I got them. And the reference to Miss Dawn, that was Nat's second grade teacher, and she passed away, but I got it. And then just the relationships between, I'm calling the characters like their real names because there was just so much reality within it, but then yet there was a lot of creativity to the story as well. I wasn't expecting the tension at the end with how that went down and just how that must have felt to have kind of the rug pulled out from under you when you worked so hard on a project. And I don't know, I could go on and on, but there's other people that probably want to comment. I also appreciated the whole gender piece and the sexuality piece because I think just it let us know kind of, I don't know.
So maybe now we should hear from someone who hated all of those things. But I think the thing you mentioned about the coronavirus material, that's something that I thought would be interesting to talk about because in Tim Slover's advanced playwriting class, where I was turning in drafts of the script throughout the semester, every one of my classmates who read the first draft of the script to have corona in it advised me not to do that. Because the whole play was written. We had the whole story was written out, and then quarantine happened and we weren't meeting as an in-person class anymore. And there was so much to adjust to and so many new emotions to feel about being isolated all the time. And I thought, if I don't write that into this play, then the whole play will ring false and it will be outdated as soon as it becomes produced. And for a play that I put so much work into having everything be accurate and timely, to have there be a great disaster happen in the world and not respond to it, I would have felt like it was all gone to waste. Hi, Sumana.
Hi, who?
I don't know.
So yeah, Phyllis, I believe we can hear you. So if you have any comments that you'd like to make, and then again, Sumana, I believe you and Nat were friends at our recourse center, and then we'll hear some more from you as well.
Well, I'm the grandmother, and it was really amazing to me. I thought it was going to be a little 30-minute production, so to have a full-fledged thing, and I'm a total other generation. So all of these things, I got a lot of references that I think some older people might not get. But the gender issues, the gaming issues are all things that I try hard to keep up on. And to have this put together in a play, I think was truly amazing. And I'm just really, really proud and think it was a phenomenal job.
Thank you. Did it make sense? Do you think you learned maybe anything about programming?
It definitely made sense. I don't know.
Wow.
I didn't learn as much as I appreciated what goes on behind the scenes and you know, people's lives doing those kinds of jobs and things, or it's just you know, a whole opened up some new ideas for me, sure.
Yeah, that was one of our biggest struggles in the workshop, was how are we going to make this make any sense? So
yeah, good job.
Yeah, thank you.
One more thing I wanted to add that I thought you really captured really well how people that have ethics and morals end up having to kind of go through the back door to accomplish things that they want to accomplish in a environment that doesn't really support them. And I thought that you really captured that really well.
Okay, Sumana, I really want to hear from you, but we haven't had anything for Allie to say yet. So I'm wondering if we should respond to Tim's question in the chat. He asked, Allie, if you were to direct a full staging of this play, how would you handle the gaming?
Totally. So something that like comes to my mind, especially with like the Hunger Games scene specifically, I think it would be really cool to have each of the like contestants or the gamers like on a little platform, kind of like if you guys have seen the Hunger Games movie, there are little platforms that that they're on in the beginning, surrounding the cornucopia type thing, and I think it'd be a good way to like symbolize it, but also it's not obviously physical, and then also using the screen in the back to like project things, and so having the actors on stage but also projecting it on the screen is kind of what I envision there. But
yeah,
that's
all right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Maybe now we should hear from Sumana finally.
Please, no problem. I mean, I by the way, Nat and I have never met.
No, we did meet. We did talk.
No, we did. Very right. During your batch. Now I remember. Yeah. Sorry. So I'm Sumana, and I live in New York City. I'm safe in my apartment for now. Went to the pharmacy today. It was terrifying. And a few years ago, I was thinking from the point of view of programmers, right, that there's so little theater that reflects our experiences. There's a bunch of, movies that are basically about entrepreneurs or hackers, that are basically spy movies or something like that. There's very little in the way of mass media, whether it's, theater or TV or novels or games, really that reflect our experiences. And if you saw me during the intermission complimenting Nat's work, it's because that's precisely the kind of thing that I was hoping to help foment when I started writing plays and putting them on at tech conferences about our experiences as programmers, and then actually founding an arts festival that happened at a tech conference last year. It was going to happen this year again, except for, of course, COVID-19. And I've put some links into the Zoom chat about basically, I said to Nat actually in just a private message during this play, that the play that you made, Nat, is a vindication of my work, of what I've been working on since, what is it, like 2016 or something. And it's the, this is an inheritor to the heritage of Ellen Ullman's The Bug, and the AMC series Halt and Catch Fire. These works that really engage, not just on a surface level, but with real human depth and technical verisimilitude with the real capabilities that we have as programmers and the kinds of dilemmas that face us. What do we work on, and what is it like to chase down a bug? What is it like to have a technical argument with somebody? What is it like to have your code reviewed by somebody? These are passionate moments of interiority that, unless we write it, it's never going to get on stage. Mm-hmm. And I just so deeply appreciate that you made something. I'm extremely happy that you were able to thread the needle, that this also worked for people who I think it sounds like don't program that much. But I don't mean to misuse this, but nothing about us without us so came through in this. I think on a number of dimensions, right? On the dimension of what it is to be a technologist. I'm a cis straight woman, but my appreciation for what you brought to it in terms of gender and sexuality also, it all is married together. And for people here who have never read any of the works that I'm mentioning, I have a couple of links in Zoom in case you want to take a look. There's not enough work in the fine arts that reflects the stories of us. And I just am so deeply appreciative that Nat, you and of course, all of your colleagues have really brought this to life, and I hope to see more of it. I was mentioning that the Sloan Foundation has a grants program for art that helps audiences understand things about science and technology. And it seems to me like this would be a really promising candidate.
Yeah, I would fill out that application. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is all making me feel very good. I wonder where the negative criticism is hiding.
I'll tell you later, or now if you want.
Okay. From you or from anyone else in the audience,
Yeah. So, Nat, if you do want to get those, people can send those private messages in the chat. But I think a question that I want people to kind of consider and then maybe answer in the chat is, what character within this show do you find yourself most identifying with? What character traits maybe did you really resonate with, and for what characters? And then while people are thinking about that, Nat, do you want to talk a little bit more about the inspiration for your characters?
Yeah, so a few of the characters have really clear inspirations because there were people that I've met and worked with. The real person behind Alec, we're still in touch. We made games together in high school. He really did decompile the teacher's quiz program. He really did. I never cheated on my quizzes, but I think he might have done that. Not that he needed to. And also, I want to say our high school programming teacher was really a good person, and he was a great teacher. He was not the person who appears in this script. But yeah, so that person's name is Wilgus, my partner, not our high school teacher. I really wanted him to come to this reading, and he was in a bike accident recently, so that's a little unfortunate. But yeah, and also the mineral project I really just did, write it, the way they really are doing it, imitation learning and all of those things. Those are concepts that I learned from Will and from his team, and I've been involved remotely a little bit with that project. As for the other characters, though, so Lisa is the main protagonist, and it's a little weird to say that that she is based on me. Only her role in the story is based on me because I've been in conversations with Will. We've talked about ethics. I've helped with running the server and things like that. But ultimately, Lisa is a composite of a lot of different people, especially people that I met at RC, because I'm white and I'm a trans femme. I'm not a cis lesbian. So there's lots of things. I wanted the characters to represent as many real things in the tech world as I possibly could. And so, yeah. But then a lot of the other characters who are cis men, who are meant to be sort of comic relief, are meant to be problematic, they're also based on me. So, yeah. Also, my roommate, I just heard him laugh through the wall. He came in during Act 1, I think, because he noticed that one of the lines spoken by Aarav was ripped right out of a conversation we had.
And
Nat,
it's good to hear. Oh,
this is Grandma Madeline.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi. I just wanted for sure for you to know that I just love this. It's just really touching, and I want to thank everyone who has helped you get to this point. I know that your dad has, and your mom, but the technical stuff and the climate and everything that they've created for you to be able to do this, and your teachers, everyone that has brought you this far. I'm so thankful for them, and just want to tell you how proud I am of all of you. And I appreciate the vocabulary that you went through, because this is way out of my league. I mean, I know a little bit about things, but so I liked having those explanations as you went along, and just thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
so we don't have much time, so I think we'll do probably one or two more questions, because we were supposed to end at 8:30, but I've been really enjoying this. So I know Sumana had a critique, and yeah, you're more than welcome to share that in public. We love and welcome. I know Nat loves and welcomes constructive criticism, so it's always nice to hear. And then we'll probably just do one more question after that.
Okay, I'll just very briefly say, I think that the exposition, I really trust that some more working through would help make it smoother. I think that in a sense, you could learn from the techniques of science fiction here and from historical fiction in how do you convey information about a world and about complicated systems to your audience. And I think smoothing out what author Joe Walton calls the incluing would probably be great. And I know that that's just over time, getting test audiences, working through it, I know it'll happen. I do think that it would be worth a much more complicated conversation that you may have already had about whether the suicide attempt as this climax is, I was definitely very engaged by it, but I wonder whether there's another direction that could go in that would, and I'm even struggling for the words to talk about it, but this is, although realistic, also perhaps something that I do see in a fair number of stories of trying to exemplify the heights of tension that people are brought to in the conflicts of what do I do to, you know, pursue my programming ambition, but also stay moral. And I wonder whether there's, you've done so much to break ground and show some novel approaches to things that I really see. And so I wonder whether there's some other places to go with that. But that's a much bigger thing. So that would be worth a much bigger conversation.
I would love to have that conversation. I think it's great.
All right. So I think maybe we'll put a stop on it there. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you to our cast, doing just such a wonderful job, especially with the technological limitations that we've had going on with this. And you know, thank you for everyone. If you have more questions, I'm sure Nat will be willing to talk to people in, you know, a less public forum, because I'm sure, well, actually, with what's going on, maybe people don't have as many places to go to. But thanks again for coming. I don't know if I turn it over to Sydney now or if we just kind of end things off here, but it's been a pleasure to work with Nat and Allie on this, even though, you know, I don't do that much, so it was more them. So again, kudos to them, and I think everyone, we should just give them another round of applause.
Thank you so much to the actors and to Allie and to the professors and everyone. Yeah.
Thanks to everyone for coming too.
Okay, so Sydney, I think is taking it away. I'm gonna turn off my video and just see what happens.
Thank you all for coming. We will see you hopefully tomorrow night. We've got we've got 3 more readings. The next one tomorrow is at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. It is Legitness by Bryn Swain, and it is based on Jane Austen's novel Emma, and it is such fun. So hope you will be able to join us for some other readings over the next few nights. And yeah, take care, everybody. Stay safe. Stay connected to reality somehow in this very, very weird moment. Thanks all. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.